So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about the degrees that SE4 offers in the applied degree line. So if you were to go to se4.edu and click on programs, it's going to bring you to a list of all the different degrees that SE4 offers during the year that you are a student. So the very first section that they have is they have the transfer degrees, and we've talked about those in other videos where you could go and you could look at the arts and the science and then see where the requirements are and see the active links. But we're going to go down to the applied degrees because we have a number of students that are doing those degrees as well. And we want to make sure that you understand how to look at your degree and look at the requirements and make sure that you're always planning for completion and making sure you're going to be set up for success. So the first thing, we're going to go to accounting just to look at that and kind of play around with it. The accounting degree, when you first click onto it, it's going to be a lot of different tabs that you can go to and you can get some more information about accounting in the degree. We're going to go to program details, and this is going to bring us to a page where if we then click on the college catalog, it's going to bring us to the requirements for the degree. It's going to give you a description of what it is and the ability after receiving this degree, what you have for future outlook. But also too, looking here too, you can go ahead and you can print this. So you have a version where you can mark off classes, things if you complete them and kind of keep track of where you are. It's nice too, because as the page continues on, it tells you how many overall credits you need for the degree and what options you have. So we're going to minimize that and get rid of it and go back to the normal screen. And this will go through, and at the bottom, it'll tell you a suggested course sequence. And sometimes students think that this means that the courses are optional, and it does not mean that they're optional. This is just a suggested order in which to complete the classes, and they do it for a couple of reasons. They want to make sure that students have the prerequisites met in order to take the next level class in that area, or to have a balanced semester so that you're not doing just accounting in one semester or business management in another. You're kind of getting to balance a little bit of everything. So when you go and you look at the overall classes, for example, the first semester, you can do things. It doesn't matter if, like, as a new student or a new junior, you're only taking one or two classes. You can do the classes. You can obviously wait to do the next ones the next semester if you don't have room, but you have to make sure that you do accounting 211 before you do accounting 212, because as you look through the classes, it says that the prerequisites is needed. So you have to plan out your classes to make sure that you're able to fulfill the requirements, but do them in the right order so that you can complete the degree. So looking at the classes, you can see that once you click on a class, it'll tell you what the description is for the course description. And they tell you what a prerequisite is for the class, meaning if you need to have, for this case, the AccuPlacer or the SAT score in place already on file in order to register for this class. And then in this one, it'll tell you how many hours per week or how many credit hours you're going to have on your transcript based on the successful completion of this class. So that is a great tool. But as I had already shown with the accounting 211 class, prerequisites can be specific classes. So rather than it being a test score like it was for the math class, the business 158, this class is going to be specifically, you need to have accounting 211 completed before you take it. Again, still the course description and the number of credits that you have it. So when you're going through and looking at these classes, sometimes students ask us, well, what if I get a class grade or a final grade that is not at a C or higher? And the answer is, as long as your overall GPA for your SE4 experience at the end, when you're applying for graduation or applying for your degree at the end of your time, is a 2.0 or higher, then you would be able to earn this degree, even if you had possibly as low as a D- in a class, as long as, again, your overall credit or your cumulative GPA is at that 2.0 standard. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to a different degree, just kind of float around and show you some different examples. We're going to go to another common degree that a lot of our students have, which is criminal justice. And if you click on criminal justice, the same thing, it's going to give you some different things to read and learn more about the degree, but to see what the degree actually has for a criminal justice generalist is like the basic, giving you a little bit of experience in all the different areas. You would click on this to see what the different requirements are. So you can see for this degree, same thing, you can go ahead and you can print it off so that you can write on it and you can kind of keep track of where you are. It'll go through and make a nice little pamphlet for you to go through and use that. But I want to point out that this degree, unlike the other degrees we've looked at so far, is a higher number of credits. And sometimes students are not always thinking of that when they're switching to this degree or wanting to plan for it. It is 62 to 63 credits and conduct hours. So we have to make sure that when you're planning the classes, you take classes that are going to be higher in content or higher in credit hours, so that you're not going to be in a situation where you just run out of Blue Water Middle College credits in your 13th year, because we only pay 17 credits per semester. So you have to plan for that and making sure you're taking some higher level credit classes in your junior and senior year rather than just 3 credit classes, so you can get that finished. So going on to their examples down here, you can see that same as the one for accounting, they have specific classes that you need to take. And it's not something that you can substitute out when it comes to like the computers class or criminal justice 101. Down further where it says that you have then elective credits that you need to take, you can again take them as you are going through and planning, but it's a total of 15 that you need, but it has to be from the approved list that's below. So it'll go through and it'll list classes that you have to add up to 15 credits by taking these, and you can again do them in different orders. Some classes have prerequisites and some do not. So for example, if you wanted to take criminal justice 105, you wouldn't have to do any other criminal justice class before it. So you just have to make sure you're looking at the requirements and the prerequisites before you plan on taking a class. There are some substitutions you can have. So for example, if you come up here to the English, there's an asterisk that indicates that you could do English 100 instead. Same thing with the asterisk for the math. It says here that you could be doing foundations math. But if you wanted to, you could go ahead and do intermediate algebra, which is like an algebra 2 at the high school level. And that could be a different route that you wanted to take. So those would be allowed substitutions. The one other area that I know that some students have done in the past for substitutions is if earth science isn't a science you want to take and it's still going to be a different 4-credit science class, you can go ahead and you can petition to the head of the department asking for a substitution. Please make sure you get the substitution approved before you actually register and take the class if you decide not to do the GEO 101 or the earth science. So looking at the overall credits, you can see that it is something that you have to plan, make sure that you're taking the right ones. They do have some building blocks. You do have to do English 101 before you do English 102. When it comes to your field study class or field observations, you have to have 101 or 220 or 121 completed. So you just have to be using this as a great tool to make sure that you're planning correctly. But when we go back to the overall list of generalists, one thing I want to point out with the criminal justice specifically is that they also have different skill sets that they refer to them as. So you can see that there's the corrections, the law enforcement, and then the homeland security. And if you click on one of these, if this is an area you want to kind of, in a sense, concentrate, so you have an extra certificate or extra skill set with them, all you have to do is click on it and it'll tell you the list of classes that you would have to take and complete in order to get that extra put in. So these classes are already listed in the criminal justice generalist category. When you had all of the approved electives down here that you could pick from to earn those 15 elective credits, you would just make sure that they would be from that list of that certain content area, so that you could earn that specific extra certification or focus area. So that's kind of unique thing with criminal justice to make sure that to look out for if that's something that you're interested in. Going back to overall degrees that SC4 offers, if you have a question or you're looking for more support, just let us know so that we can be there for you. If you're interested in any of the nursing or the rad tech or respiratory therapy, then contact Mrs. Weimer and she would be able to help you better plan for those. Make sure that if you are having to take the AccuPlacer for placement, that you do that in advance before you register so that you can be able to register for classes and not be put on hold waiting for those test results to come in.